Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'da, habati fillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Almighty accepts our good and forgives our evil and protects us from kulli su' wa makruh. Habati fillah. No doubt Ahlul Sunnah has a need to cooperate. And Imam Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, one of the Kibar ulama in Medina, has written a fantastic treatise and that you can find in the English language called Gentleness Between Ahlul Sunnah. And he wrote this treatise in order to bring ilaj, bring a medicine to the sickness and the many refutations and attempts to destroy what and exploit differences of opinion between Ahlul Sunnah. That does not mean Ahlul Sunnah does not refute one another. Refutations are one thing, as long as they're knowledge-based, and as long as they're not there just to belittle someone's honor, but rather they are there to clarify the truth, and maybe establish the proof and share the truth with the person who has differed with the truth or fallen off the truth or made a mistake or what have you. So Imam Abdul Muhsin Al-Abbad, he wrote that treatise for that, to deal with what's going on in the house, meaning what's going on between Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. So as I mentioned, Ahlul Sunnah has a great need to cooperate and assist one another and not be weak and divided and spending the attention of destroying one another's honor and leaving the people of bid'ah and desires to distort the religion and to ridicule Ahlul Sunnah and the minhaj and methodology of Ahlul Sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says في كتابه المبين وتعاونوا على بر وتقوى ولا تعاونوا على إثم وعدوان. Cooperate all of you together in righteousness and piety, and do not cooperate in sinfulness and enmity. Now, that is so powerful from amongst the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because here Allah Azza wa Jal lets us know that we are ordered to cooperate in righteousness. So whenever something is good, you cannot avoid somehow supporting it, even if it's through your intention, even if it's through wishing good, that the endeavor of khair is successful. وَتَعَوَنَ عَلَى بِرِّ وَتَقْوَى. So that when someone is in need of assistance in doing righteousness, we should support them. And we're ordered to cooperate. So min bab al-awla, Ahlul Sunnah should be doing that with one another. They should be cooperating with one another in building institutions, in supporting institutions, in cleaning up communities, in establishing lectures and durus and khair and spreading it. وَتَعَوَنَ عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. So bir, that refers to every kind of good, as some of the scholars mention. And taqwa, of course, includes every kind of good, but taqwa, to be a little bit more specific, as some of the Salaf mention, it is al-fi'l li-awamir Allah, or fi'l awamir Allah. It is practicing the commandments of Allah. Wa tark ma'siyatillah or ma naha anhu. It is leaving what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited us from. Ta'awun ala birri wa taqwa. So by cooperating together as Ahlul Sunnah, being one hand, not letting the Hizbiyun and others weaken us, we're following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're cooperating in righteousness and piety. Ahabati fillah, however, and the other part of the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes a nahi. So here, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse, yajtami' or yajtami'an al-amr wa nahi. There's a command and there's a prohibition in this verse. There's what? There's a command and there's a prohibition. The command is to cooperate in piety and righteousness. The prohibition is what? Is to not cooperate in sinfulness and hatred. That means, going back to what we're talking about in our subject matter, is that Ahlul Sunnah should not be cooperating in sin. So you don't get together with your mates, as they would say, in the UK or something, or maybe in Australia as well. They're not going to get together with their mates and go to the pub. And you're not going to get together with your mates and go on a double date with the girls, or whatever you're going to do, whatever's muharram. You're not going to cooperate in that. You're going to advise one another and help one another avoid that. This also means that Ahlul Sunnah should not be busy on their tongues gaining the sin of backbiting or namimah. Backbiting meaning to speak about your brother what he does not like. Okay, so for example, when you talk about du'at and talk about this guy and that lady, that you are, you're speaking about them in a way that they would hate, especially if it's not based on the truth, and especially if there is no Sharia maqsad. That's the key. There is no Sharia-based intention for doing that. The second part of that part of the verse, وَلَا تَعَوَنْ عَلَى إِثْمِ وَعُدْوَانِ, and do not cooperate in sinfulness, or what's second? Enmity, hatred. So that means Ahlul Sunnah does not cooperate with people in spreading hatred. So that means when you get namima, that you carry tales around the community, as some of the scholars mentioned, the meaning of namima is to carry tales with the intent of spreading wickedness around the community, that you don't do that. So you don't have to chop up videos and make new videos to gain the favor with some people in order to belittle other people from Ahlul Sunnah, especially Ahlul Sunnah. But you do not want to cooperate in sinfulness, because you're in a sin and now you're cooperating in sin, nor hatred and spreading hatred, or being a part of hatred, or being the cause of hatred, saying, hey, so-and-so did this, in order to get the people to hate him or her, whether it's true or not. So the intent is, and you can see this maqsad is beautiful in the usul al-i'tiqad of Ahlul Sunnah, and the minhaj of Ahlul Sunnah, that this is one of the reasons why they don't spread the sins of the Muslim ruler, and why they don't attack the honor of the Muslim ruler, even if he belittles his own honor. Ahlul Sunnah they don't need to have a hub in those affairs. They don't need to integrate in those affairs. Rather, they supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, please rectify the ruler because of his sinfulness. So Ahlul Sunnah is not a part of festering and fomenting hatred against the Muslim rulers, nor against their brothers and sisters in Islam, even the people of bid'ah and desires, if it is without a Sharia maqsad. Meaning you can't talk about mubtadi'ah without a Sharia-based intent. You can't just do it because you want to get together and you guys just want to backbite for a few hours and drink coffee and eat dates. And that's entertaining. No, it's not about, let's rewind his speech 50 times and continue and to laugh and joke about this mubtadi'ah. Naam, he's a mubtadi'ah. He is sick. He is a cancer in the ummah. But you cannot entertain yourself from this cancer, and you cannot ridicule this cancer except within the borders of the shar'. Meaning that there's a Sharia-based benefit. Oh yes, Yasir Qadi said this in this tape. We need to be careful of this. This guy is sick, and he's spreading sickness in the ummah. Oh, Nu'man, he said this, and he's spreading sickness and deviancy in the Aqidah. Stay away. Oh, Mufti Mink said this, or whoever it is. I'm just giving that as an example. that we want to be careful about spreading these things for the sake of entertainment. Our deen, we have so much more that we have to build, that we have to do, that's wajib upon us, about correcting ourselves, that honestly, if we're honest with ourselves, we have no time for belittling people, especially unnecessarily. And especially if you don't have the tools to do so. And especially if you are not those people it is an obligation upon to clarify those matters. It's not upon you as a layperson or a beginning student of knowledge or what have you to even really enter into those affairs. But yet we have Ahl Sunnah destroying and attacking and belittling and destroying the honor of one another. Let's just forget Ahl Bid'ah, but look at what they're doing to themselves.